Hey there, and welcome to the Girl Means Business podcast, the show that's all about helping photographers just like you build a thriving business without sacrificing your sanity. I'm your host, Kendra Swalls, a former teacher turned full-time photographer and marketing coach, here to fill your earbuds each week with practical tips, real-life stories, and a whole lot of encouragement. So if you're ready to dive in, let's get to it because this girl means business. Hey there, friend. Welcome back to the Girl Means Business podcast. I am excited for today's topic because we're going to talk about how to become a local celebrity in your area without having to go viral on social media. Now, when you hear the phrase local celebrity, what does that mean to you? Because it can mean a couple of different things. So I want to really define what I mean by quote unquote local celebrity. And just to be clear, I'm not saying that you have to be an actual celebrity that people recognize on the street or want your autograph. I just mean that you want to be somebody that people know, recognize the name of, and have a positive opinion about within your community. To me, that is what a local celebrity is. It's someone that when they mention your photography business, there is a positive connotation to it. And people around are going to be like, oh yeah, I've used them, or oh, my best friend has hired them for a photo shoot before and I've heard they're amazing. You want to become a known name in your community. So when we talk about becoming a local celebrity, that's what I mean by that in today's episode. I want you to become a known name within your community. Now, at the beginning of this, I did say that I want to show you how to become a local celebrity without going viral on social media. As most of you listening will know, I do not love social media. I personally have not posted on my business social media page in probably over a year. And I still have a very successful photography business that does not rely on social media in order to get more clients. And so if you're new to the podcast, or if you've been here for a while, just a quick refresher that everything I teach here on the podcast, or let me rephrase that. The majority of things that I teach here on the podcast are all going to be intended to help you grow without having to rely on social media and social media trends. And this episode is no different. So if you saw the title and you thought, oh, maybe Kendra's going to talk about going viral and becoming a Instagram superstar, then that's not what the direction this is going, just FYI. So one of the things that I find to be a struggle for me with social media is there's this idea and this normal concept that people have around social media that you do want to go viral, that you want your content to seen by thousands and thousands of people from all over the place. And that always kind of confused me a little bit because as a local based photographer, I don't see the benefit in having people view my content who live on the other side of the world or who even live in a different state than I live in. And while it can be gratifying to see those metrics, to see that I'm getting lots of eyes, lots of likes, lots of clicks, all the things, that is very gratifying and it feels really good in the moment. It does not necessarily lead to bookings or paying clients. And so I want to help shift that perspective away from the more people I can get looking at my content, the better, to the more people who are local to me, who see my content and know my name, that's going to help me grow. So that's what I want to focus on in this episode is how can we kind of put on our blinders and say, how can I become known within my community so that I become the go-to photographer in my community? And if I can start by focusing on the community around me, you're going to have a ripple effect. Right now with social media, there's a lot of people who are trying to create ripples and start really far out and then work back in, when really you have to start the other way around. When you throw a rock into a lake, the ripple doesn't start on the outer edge and come back to the rock. It starts at the rock and goes out. And so if we're trying to build a strong foundation of an audience, of a clientele base, we have to start with where we are and then work our way outwards. And social media tends to try to do it the other way around. And so that's why I don't feel like social media is the most effective way to build a local community base. Now, having said that, I will say there are some accounts online who are really good at creating a very loyal local base. If you are focused on just promoting local content and serving a local audience, then it is possible to create that on social media. I just see the majority of photographers who go on to Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or wherever, they're looking for mass appeal, and mass appeal doesn't always translate to an actual solid client base. So I want to talk today about some strategies that are going to help you get that solid local client base. All right. So to do this is where I want some of you who might be tempted to just kind of be like, oh, no, don't want to do that, to hang on and just listen to what I have to say. If you want to become a known brand within your community, a known name within your community, you have to get out from behind the screen. You are going to actually have to go out and meet people in your community and build connections. So what does that look like? Well, one, it looks like getting your face in front of actual other human beings. As photographers, I've seen this trend in introverted photographers, and I get it. Like, there's a lot of us who are definitely introverted. I'm on the fence. I'm an introverted extrovert. When I am home and I'm cozy and I'm comfortable and I feel good, I don't want to go out. Once I'm out and I'm around people, I have a different attitude. I'm like, this is amazing. I want to meet more people. Not everybody is that way, and I totally understand that. But if you want to build a name for your brand, it has to be done in person. Everything right now is on this shift of everybody wants to just hide behind a computer screen or hide behind a phone screen. And you're not going to build a name for yourself that way, because people are actually swinging in the other direction. I see people getting off of social media. I see people wanting more and more in-person and face-to-face connections with people. And so how can we do that as a photographer so that we're building that I know this person connection? Because that I know this person connection is going to have so much more power than I follow this person on social media connection. If you think about it, think about if you have someone who is a hairdresser and you go to this hairdresser to get your hair done and she does an amazing job, and you have a great conversation and you learn about her and her family and her history and how she became a hairdresser, and she's learned about you, and you had this wonderful connection. Or you follow someone on social media who does really cool hair tutorials, who's also in your area. She does great hair tutorials. She, shows the before and after and the process, and all of her clients look amazing. When your friend comes to you and says, I really need a new hairdresser, like I don't like the person I'm going to, or my person moved away or whatever, who are you most likely to refer? Probably the one you have a personal connection with. The one that you said, oh my gosh, I went to this person and she was amazing and we had the best time and you would love her. Y'all would get along. Your personalities would be great together. You're less likely to refer her to this random person that you follow on social media because you don't have a connection with them. So building that personal connection is such a huge piece of how you create a name for yourself within your community.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Let me ask you something. How many hours have you spent in your business stressing over social media, fighting with an algorithm, trying to keep up with the latest trends, and just posting for the sake of posting, only to feel like you're spinning your wheels and nobody's even paying attention? I've been there, and let me tell you, it is the worst. But I have a fun little secret for you. Did you know that you don't actually need social media to keep your calendar full? Now, I know that goes against everything all of the other quote unquote experts are telling you to do in your business, but I am living proof that you do not need social media to grow your photography business. I have been successfully staying booked solid in my photography business for the last 8 years with very minimal social media use. And I am excited to show you exactly what I've been doing inside of a private podcast series. The 7-day booking blueprint is 8 power-packed episodes that you can binge all at once or listen to at your own pace. Each episode is actionable and designed to help you book more clients without relying on social media. If you're hearing this ad right now, that means that you are a fan of the Girl Means Business podcast. Thank you, by the way. But if you've ever found yourself saying, man, I wish I could just dive even deeper. I wish I could have a one-on-one sit down with Kendra and really pick her brain about all the things that she's doing in her business, then this podcast series is going to give you everything you've been hoping for. It is so packed with so much information that you are going to walk away feeling like you have the exact roadmap you need to grow your photography business. So if you're ready to hop off that social media hamster wheel and actually start seeing results in your business and start filling up your calendar, head down to the show notes and grab the link so that you can start listening right away. So this can look like going to local events, markets, fundraisers. You can set up a booth at a fundraiser or a market or an event, or you can just go take your camera and take pictures of the event and then send it to the event people later on. I know that business cards feel like a dying thing, but have business cards with you all the time. I cannot tell you how many times I've been talking to someone randomly in a store or in a coffee shop or wherever, and they ask me for a card and I don't have one on me. And so having a business card or something that you can physically hand to somebody, and I know people are like, yeah, but then they just get thrown away or they get shoved somewhere. I'd rather them follow me on Instagram. I am here to tell you that I have followed people on Instagram that I've seen at events because they didn't have a card. They just had the little QR code to scan and follow them. And I never see them again because they get lost in the algorithm. They never show up on my feed, or they do occasionally, but I miss it or I overlook it. And then when I do actually want to go and look at their stuff, I can't remember the name of their business. And I'm sitting here going, oh, I can remember the booth. I can remember the things. I don't remember what they were called. And then I very rarely ever see them again. But I do have an entire section of my wallet where I keep business cards from people that I want to reach back out to. As the PTO president for my kids' elementary school, I am constantly trying to build connections with people in our community, and I'm always collecting business cards and people's information because I need to hold on to that. And it sounds old school and it sounds very non-techy, but business cards are super, super helpful. So have them with you. If you want to put a QR code on your business card so people can scan it and follow you on social media, that's great. But give them something tangible that they can keep somewhere that has your information on it. Because even if it gets shoved in a bag or a wallet or a drawer or in their car console, one of these days they're going to come across it again and they're going to be like, oh yeah, I wanted to hold on to that. Or I wanted to pass that off to somebody else. Guys, I have given people's business cards so many times, or taken a photo of the business card and been like, okay, you need this person. Just the other day, I was talking to somebody about the place I went and got my windshield repaired because I drive a Jeep Wrangler. The windshields are stupid. They're straight up and down, and every little rock that hits it creates a crack. And I constantly feel like I'm having to get my windshield repaired or replaced. It's expensive, but I found a place nearby that does an incredible job. They can get you in same day. They are reasonably priced, all the things. And I have their card in my wallet. So I was sitting at my daughter's volleyball game and a bunch of the moms and I are talking, and we're just kind of talking about all the things we have to do in our week. And one of the moms was like, yeah, I need to go get my windshield repaired. I don't want to. It's so expensive and you got to schedule the appointment. And I said, oh, you need to go to this place. And I showed her the card and said, let me take a picture and I'll text it to you. And she was like, awesome. So I took a picture and I texted to her. Every other mom sitting there goes, can you send that to me as well? Because they were like, this is someone that is being referred to us by someone we trust and we value their opinion. They've had a good experience with this. And so I think 3 of them have now all gone to the same windshield repair person that I have. And that is the value of having something tangible and building a connection. So have those cards there. Even if you think that they're not important, you don't have to spend a lot of money on them. Go on to Canva, print them for super cheap or Vistaprint or wherever, but have some with you at all times. Okay, I kind of went on a little bit of a business card tangent there, but bringing it back to those local events. Anytime you can be a part of a local event in your community, it's just going to help you become more visible. And you're going to meet other people within your community that could potentially be someone that you could partner with, or you could collaborate with, or who might know somebody who needs a photographer, or they might need a photographer for their business, or you never know where that next connection is going to lead to. So don't be afraid to get out and have and attend those events or be part of those events. If there are newsletters or emails or flyers, that whatever you can get into that's going to let you know when these events are coming up, definitely get on the radar for those. Another thing you can do is volunteer at your community events. This is going to get you tons of content and get you visible. So I'll give you an example of this. So in my town, every year there is the annual homecoming parade. Because we live in a really, really small town, it's kind of a big deal, and everybody goes to it. All the kids are either on a float or they're getting candy from the floats on the side of the road. Local businesses show up. It's a big deal. And in the past, I've always been involved with helping like set it up the floats for my kids' teams that they're on. And this year was the first year that I kind of stepped back and said, I'm not going to help with the setup. I'm not driving a car in the float. I'm not participating. But I am going to take my camera and I am going to sit in a spot where I can get photos. And then my husband brought his drone and he did some drone video. And so I had my camera. I walked around before. I got pictures of everybody on the parade route, like with their chairs out and their coolers and all the things. And then as the parade came through, I got pictures of all the floats and the kids and the candy and the families and all of it. It was really fun. And I edited them and then I sent them to the communications director for the school district, who happens to be someone that I know. But even if I didn't know her, I still would have sent over an email and said, hey, just want to let you know I'm a local photographer in the community. I was at the parade last night. These are the pictures I took. Please feel free to use them. I would just love if you gave credit to my business. Well, because I know the communications person, obviously, she was like, absolutely. Within 24 hours, she had posted a ton of the photos on the school's Facebook page, and she had tagged my business, my photography business. And what's funny is that from just that one school post, I got a ton of people who I know in the community who have known me for years reaching out to me and going, those photos are amazing. I actually forgot you did photography, or I never knew you did photography. And that was on me. Like, that's my fault for not being more visible in the community in that way. But it really kind of was a cool experience to remind me that something as little as that, it cost me nothing other than my time. I was already going to be there because my kids were in the parade. So I was going to be there to watch them anyway. So it didn't take any time away from my everyday life. I just took it as an opportunity to put myself in a situation to get involved and to do something that would benefit my business. So little things like that can make a big impact and can help you become someone that people rely on. And especially if it's something that semi relates to what you do. So in this case, the parade, I do a lot of high school seniors. There's a lot of high school seniors that were in the parade. Their families were there. I got pictures of all the homecoming court. I got pictures of like the varsity football team and the varsity cheerleaders. And some of them were really good photos. And so I know that from that, there's a lot of parents that saw that and will now be looking at my website or my Facebook page to then go to my website and see what I have to offer. So again, it didn't cost me anything, but it will help benefit my business. Another similar example to this is you can sponsor an event or a local sports team. So have your logo on a banner, have your logo on the back of their team shirt. Have anywhere that you can have like your information displayed somewhere publicly is always going to be a really, really good way to get more exposure to your business. Another thing that we've talked about here on the podcast before, I did a whole episode on this, is just that collaborating with local businesses. So this is where I go back to the idea of it starts with going to those local events, get to know who are the other businesses in your area, build connections with them, and then reach out to them again and say, hey, it was so great meeting you. I would love to schedule a time for us to chat about ways we can work together, or, set up a mini styled session at their location or create an event together. Whatever it is that you want to come up with. Again, I have a whole episode of ideas on this. It's going to cross promote you to both of your audiences. So you're now going to get exposure to their audience and they're going to get exposure to your audience. So it benefits both of you. You can also utilize this on your website as social proof. So when a visitor goes to your website, you can have a section that says featured partner, and you can list all of the companies, the businesses that you have partnered with within your community. And that is going to also help lead to some brand awareness, but also build that social proof that shows other people, oh, this photographer is someone who is in the community, who other people have worked with. Let's say the example that comes to my mind is there's an art studio in my town. And it's super cute. And they do tons of classes for kids and adults too, and homeschool programs, all the things. She's a former teacher. And we went for my daughter's birthday party there. And the lady that owns it and I hit it off. And we've talked multiple times about doing different things together. I've actually gone in and photographed some of her events for promotions for her. But if I go on there now and put on my website that I'm a featured partner with this art studio, when someone comes to my website and they go, oh my gosh, we've gone to those classes. That's so cool that they know each other. We love the owner of that place. We had a great experience with that place. Well, if that person trusts this photographer, then this must be a great option. So again, it seems so minuscule at the time. You're like, I'm going to go and I'm going to do this. And what difference is it going to make? Because it's not going to bring in 20 new families. But you're building these little building blocks. You're putting together these little pieces that when you step back in the long run, you'll see just how big of an impact it actually has on your business. So don't discredit something because it feels like you're not going to get that instant gratification from it. Social media will give you that instant gratification. If that's what you want is instant gratification, just hop on Instagram and post something and get that instant gratification. It's not always going to result in clients. If you want to build something that is going to get you clients in the long run, it's going to build a really cool foundation for your business to grow from. These are the things that you need to be doing. You need to be building relationships within your community and building that social proof so that you're the person that people refer to, and you're the person that everyone is going to recognize the name of because they've seen it in so many places. You know that saying of like, you have to see something at least 7 times, or people have to interact with your business 7 times before it becomes something that they trust and they want to work with. The same thing applies here. Every time that they are seeing your name at an event, on a banner, on a blog post or whatever, or being referred to by this place, those are all little building blocks of social proof that's going to make them feel more comfortable and confident in booking with you. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about is something you can do from behind your computer screen. So if you've been listening to this and your skin is crawling because you're like, that's a lot of people time. That's a lot of social interaction. I feel you. I do. It is important, but there are some things you can intertwine and intermix with them that's going to give you a little bit of that extra bump as well, but doesn't require you to be necessarily face-to-face with people all the time. And that is to create blog posts that are going to, 1, boost your SEO, but 2, are going to help you become an expert in your community. So here's what you're going to do. You are going to create blog posts on your website that are going to help set you up as an expert in your community by sharing content about your community. And then you're going to reshare these blog posts in Facebook mom groups. You're going to link to them on your personal Facebook or Instagram page. You are going to share them as free lead magnets. Put that QR code on your business card that links to that blog post, or a couple of the blog posts, a grouping of them, if you will. Wherever and however you can get it out there that you are an expert in your area. So I'm going to give you a perfect example of this. Several years ago, I did headshots for a husband and wife couple who are realtors in an area close by me. And we were talking, and they were new to the area. They'd moved here from out of state, and they were just kind of establishing their real estate business here in the DFW area. And there's one sort of town in particular that they were really focused on. And so they created this whole brand around being the go-to people for knowing what was going on in their town. They would create social media content around what was coming up that weekend. They would go and visit local restaurants and, kind of video blog the whole thing. They would take their kids out and do activities with them at pumpkin patches or Christmas lights. They would kind of get the inside scoop on what was going on. And as they built relationships with other businesses and people in their community, they were able to then get access to things early so that they could share them ahead of time. They were able to kind of know that these events that were going on that weren't super publicized. And people started following them because they were becoming the go-to source for what's happening around town. And not only did that help them build connections in their community, it gave them a name in their community. So let's say, they became friends with a local business who offered different classes. And so every month they'd have a different class that you could go take at this business. Well, they became friends with the owner. And now every time these people come in for classes, the owner, if the conversation came up or someone was saying, I'm looking to move to the area, they could say, oh, if you need a realtor, I've got a really great option for you. You need to meet so-and-so and so-and-so. And it becomes this word of mouth along with all the other things they built up. And they receive the majority of their clients come from their content they're putting out there on blogs. They do YouTube videos, social media, an email list. That's where the majority of their clientele come from. And then client referrals. They don't really have to go out and advertise that they're realtors. They're doing it through this other system. So for you, you could do the same thing in your area. You can create blog posts that are going to share with your audience some of the best places to go around town with your kids. What restaurants offer kids eat free on certain nights of the week? If you're a wedding photographer, you could do a whole blog post on date night ideas in your area. You could do dog-friendly area, things to do around town, the holidays, around summer break or spring break, or if there's a special event that happens once a year. If you become the person that people trust and go to for the information about your town, it is going to do so much for your business. And all you're doing is sharing valuable information. You are becoming a resource. You can go to these places and take pictures, and now you're advertising what you can do with a camera. You're advertising your skills on top of your knowledge base. And that is going to help you become someone who is a celebrity, a well-known person in your community that is trusted, that is relied upon, and that people are going to want to refer you to their family and friends because they've seen you, they recognize you, and they value what you bring to this community. So I hope that gives you some ideas and tips on how to become the next great celebrity in your town without having to go viral on social media. These are all things you can do just from being active within the community around you. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this week's episode. If you have any questions or you want to dive more into this, please feel free to reach out to me. You can email me at kendra@girlmeansbusiness.com, or you can find me on social media under Girl Means Business on Facebook and Instagram and reach out to me that way. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful week. Get out, get involved in your community, and let me know how it goes for you. I will see you back here next week, same time, same place.